The soft hum of conversation filled the air inside the elegant restaurant, its golden lights flickering like stars against the polished glass walls. In this world of silk dresses and tailored suits, a man named Ethan Cole sat nervously by the entrance, his worn jeans and grey shirt betraying his unfamiliarity with such luxury. At 32, Ethan was a hard-working mechanic, owner of a small but honest repair shop in the quiet town of Brookhaven. Tonight wasn't about business, though. It was about a blind date his sister had arranged. She had promised him the woman was genuine, someone special. Ethan had laughed it off at first, but curiosity and a hint of loneliness had brought him here, as he read his sister's message again. "Table by the window. Look for the woman in blue." His heart thudded against his chest. He took a deep breath, brushed his hands against his jeans, and looked around the restaurant, scanning for a glimpse of blue among the candle-lit tables. Her hair, golden and softly curled, framed a face both kind and strong. She wore a deep blue dress that shimmered under the light like the surface of a calm lake. But what caught Ethan's eye wasn't just her beauty. It was the wheelchair beside her table. For a moment he hesitated. His sister hadn't mentioned anything about this, but she was alone, wearing blue, seated by the window. Surely this had to be her. Taking a breath to steady his nerves, Ethan approached. "Hi," he said gently, offering a hopeful smile. The woman looked up, her eyes warm and bright. "I am," she replied, with a friendly curiosity. "Are you supposed to be meeting someone?" Ethan chuckled awkwardly. "Yeah, my sister set me up on a blind date. I guess that's you." Her expression softened, but then she smiled with amusement. "I think there's been a mix-up," she said. "I'm waiting for my father. He's late, as always." Embarrassment flushed Ethan's face. "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I must have, sat at the wrong table. I'll just—" But before he could turn away, the woman laughed, a genuine melodic laugh that made him pause. "You've already made my evening more interesting. I'm Clara Weston, by the way." Her voice was light, full of warmth that instantly put him at ease. Clara tilted her head thoughtfully. "My father's usually at least 20 minutes late. Why don't you stay? You can keep me company until your real date shows up, or until mine finally decides to arrive. Seems a shame to waste a perfectly good misunderstanding." Ethan hesitated for a moment, but her tone, playful yet sincere, made it impossible to refuse. He smiled and sat down. "All right," he said, "but only because it'd be rude to leave you sitting here bored." Clara laughed again, her eyes sparkling. "Then we'll call it mutual rescue from awkward loneliness." The two began to talk, and almost immediately the tension melted away. "Oh, he'll love it," Clara said with a mischievous grin. "If he thinks you're one of his business contacts, it'll keep him entertained." Ethan smiled. "Why is he trying to set you up?" Clara gestured lightly toward her wheelchair. "He thinks I need someone to take care of me," she said, her tone calm, not bitter. "My father hasn't accepted that I'm still me." Ethan's brow furrowed. "That must be frustrating." "You have no idea," she sighed. "He is convinced no man will ever want to be with me now, unless it is out of pity or obligation." Ethan's voice softened, but there was a quiet strength in it. Clara blinked, surprised, then smiled faintly. "You're the first person who said that without making it sound like a line. And what I see is someone strong, funny, and a lot more interesting than most people I've ever met." Clara talked about her passion for coding, how she built software from her home office, solving problems and creating systems that made companies more efficient. "He doesn't understand that working remotely doesn't make my job any less real." Ethan listened intently, fascinated. "But running a business, it's about trust, precision, responsibility." Clara nodded, her eyes gleaming. "People underestimate what they don't understand. It was in that moment that a tall man in a tailored navy suit approached, his polished shoes clicking against the marble floor. "Sorry, I'm late." His gaze shifted to Ethan, puzzled. "And this is—" "Dad, this is Ethan Cole," Clara said cheerfully. "He sat at our table by mistake. We were keeping each other company while you took your time." Mr. Weston's polite smile didn't reach his eyes. "Ah, I see. Been at it for 6 years now." "How enterprising," Mr. Weston murmured, his tone carrying the weight of judgment. "Clara, your usual table is ready in the private dining room." Clara turned to her father, a playful glint in her eyes. "Actually, Dad, I'd like Ethan to join us for dinner. I don't want to intrude." "You're not intruding if I insist," Clara said firmly. And so the mechanic followed the CEO and his daughter into a private room glowing with crystal and silver. Dinner became a polite battlefield, Mr. Weston asking pointed questions about Ethan's income, education, and ambitions. But Ethan, though humble, never wavered. He met each question with quiet dignity, his honesty cutting sharper than any pretense. Clara caught his eye several times, stifling laughter at her father's attempts to intimidate him. When Mr. Weston stepped out to take a call, Clara leaned closer. "I'm sorry he's being impossible," she whispered. Ethan smiled. "He's just worried about you, but he's wrong about one thing." Ethan smiled. "He's just worried about you, but he's wrong about one thing." "What's that?" she asked. "He thinks you need someone to take care of you, Ethan, but from what I've seen tonight, you need someone who respects you enough to walk beside you, not in front of you," said. "But from what I've seen tonight, you need someone who respects you enough to walk beside you, not in front of you." When her father returned, Ethan didn't flinch from his scrutiny. He asked about the man's company, showing genuine curiosity rather than defensiveness. And though Mr. Weston remained skeptical, he couldn't deny that this mechanic carried himself with quiet integrity. By the end of the night, as the older man went to fetch the car, Ethan turned to Clara. "I'd like to see you again," he said, "not because I feel sorry for you, but because I haven't enjoyed talking to someone this much in years." Clara smiled, the kind of smile that said yes before the words ever came. "You'd better be ready," she teased. "My father's not going to make this easy." "I didn't come looking for easy," Ethan said. "I came looking for real." Over the next few months, real is exactly what they built. Their relationship blossomed into something tender and unshakable. Ethan learned about accessibility, adapting his shop to welcome Clara comfortably, while Clara helped him modernize his business with software she designed herself. They were partners in every sense. Mr. Weston remained distant, convinced that Ethan would eventually leave once things became difficult, but Ethan stayed. He stayed through every challenge, through every storm, literal and emotional. One night, when heavy rain flooded Ethan's shop, it was Clara who arrived first. From her wheelchair, she coordinated the cleanup like a commander, organizing volunteers, managing logistics on her laptop, and turning chaos into order. When Mr. Weston showed up, expecting to find disaster, he found his daughter leading with confidence he had refused to see. "She's extraordinary," Ethan said quietly beside him. "I know you think I'm not good enough for her, and you're probably right, but I love her, and I'll spend my life trying to be worthy of her." Mr. Weston watched his daughter for a long time, pride softening his stern features. "I've treated her like she was broken since the accident," he admitted. Ethan shook his head. "She was never broken," he said gently. "She just moves through the world differently, but she's as strong and brilliant as ever. You just have to see it." And for the first time, the older man did. A year after that first mistaken meeting, Ethan decorated his auto shop with candles, flowers, and the faint scent of motor oil that somehow felt like home. When Clara arrived, he knelt down, so they were eye to eye, and smiled. "You taught me that the best things in life happen when plans go wrong," he said. "I sat at the wrong table and found the right person. I love you, not despite your chair, but because you're you, wheels and all. Will you marry me?" Clara's answer came with tears and laughter. Yes. 6 months later, they married in the same town where it all began. Mr. Weston walked his daughter down the aisle, and in his toast, he thanked Ethan for teaching him to see his daughter clearly again. Sometimes life's most beautiful moments are born from accidents. A wrong turn, a wrong table, a misunderstanding that leads us exactly where we were meant to be. Ethan and Clara's story reminds us that love isn't about fixing or rescuing someone. It's about seeing them, truly seeing them, and choosing them every day, just as they are. So if this story touched your heart, like, share and subscribe for more tales of unexpected connections, stories that remind us that even our mistakes can lead us to something extraordinary. And maybe, just maybe, the wrong table was never wrong at all. It was destiny in disguise.